The tension on set was palpable before anyone even realized what was about to explode. Cameras were rolling, the crew whispering nervously, and the air felt thicker than usual, like a storm ready to burst. Fans tuning in from across the world had no idea that what they were about to witness would become the talk of reality TV for weeks, maybe even months. Rasheeda, known for her fiery temper and no-nonsense attitude, had stormed onto the set with an intensity that made everyone stop in their tracks. Her eyes were blazing, her jaw tight, and you could feel her frustration radiating from across the room. And there she was, Jasmine, completely caught off guard. Unaware that a secret had just been leaked that would change everything. It wasn't just any leak. An audio clip had surfaced, revealing private conversations and hidden intentions that nobody was supposed to hear. Whispers turned into murmurs, murmurs into gasps, and gasps into shocked stares as Rasheeda confronted Jasmine. Emotions ran high, words were exchanged in heated bursts, and then, it happened. A slap, sharp and resounding, that echoed through the studio. The crew froze, cameras caught every second, and social media exploded within minutes. Fans are shocked. The family was left divided, and Kirk, trying desperately to intervene, found himself caught in the middle of a conflict spiraling out of control. But this was just the beginning. Every glance, every whispered accusation, every trembling hand hinted at secrets yet to be revealed. As you watch, you'll feel the tension, the betrayal, and the chaos unfold, leaving you questioning loyalties, motives, and the true story behind the shocking slap that no one will soon forget. The moment Rasheeda's hand made contact, the room seemed to shatter into fragments of chaos and disbelief. Jasmine's expression froze, a mixture of shock, pain, and betrayal washing over her like a tidal wave. The crew collectively held their breath, some instinctively reaching for their phones, others too stunned to even move. Kirk, standing just a few feet away, rushed forward with his hands raised, trying to create a barrier between the two women, but Rasheeda was relentless. "You think you can talk about me behind my back and get away with it?" she yelled, her voice cracking with fury and hurt, eyes glistening as though she had bottled up weeks, maybe months, of pent-up frustration. Jasmine, still rubbing her cheek, shot back with a trembling voice, "Rasheeda, I swear, I didn't say anything like that. You have to believe me." But the air between them was electric, charged with accusations that neither side seemed willing to let go of. Fans watching live streams and snippets online were left reeling, tweeting furiously as clips of the slap went viral. Each second dissected and analyzed with wild speculation about what could have triggered such a shocking confrontation. The secret audio leak had ignited this firestorm, exposing conversations that revealed hidden alliances, whispered betrayals, and intentions that were never meant to surface. It was a Pandora's box opened at the worst possible moment, and neither Rasheeda nor Jasmine could contain the whirlwind it unleashed. "I can't believe you, Jasmine. How could you say those things about me?" Rasheeda's voice rose again, each word dripping with venom and heartbreak. And you could see the sweat forming at the edges of her temples, her chest heaving with emotion. Kirk, still trying to mediate, stepped between them, pleading, "Rasheeda, please, let's calm down. This isn't the way to handle it." But his presence seemed almost irrelevant as the intensity between the two women escalated. Jasmine's own voice wavered as tears threatened to spill over. "I never meant for it to get out. Someone leaked it, I swear. It wasn't me." Yet Rasheeda's eyes narrowed, every fiber of her being screaming that trust had been violated. The crew's murmurs became audible now, whispers of disbelief, shock, and even fear, as cameras captured every blink, every slight flinch, every moment of this escalating storm. Off camera, family members and friends who had been quietly observing were left in stunned silence, torn between defending one side and fearing the other's wrath. Rasheeda's mother, known for her sharp tongue and protective instincts, had approached cautiously, her hands trembling slightly as she tried to intervene. "Rasheeda, baby, take a breath," she urged softly, but the words barely penetrated the wall of rage and hurt that had formed around Rasheeda like an impenetrable shield. Fans commenting online were quick to speculate. Some sided with Rasheeda, claiming Jasmine had gone too far, while others defended Jasmine, accusing Rasheeda of overreacting. The debate raged across social media, every post inflamed with caps lock declarations, and viral clips being shared millions of times in hours. The set, which had once been a controlled environment for filming, now felt like a battlefield, each person treading carefully, unsure whether to intervene or step back. Kirk's attempts to calm the situation became increasingly frantic. We need to figure this out calmly, please, he urged, glancing between Rasheeda and Jasmine, each of whom looked ready to explode again at any moment. Behind closed doors, whispers about the audio leak circulated. Sources claimed it contained conversations suggesting manipulations, secret plans, and long-held grudges that had never surfaced publicly before. If true, this explained Rasheeda's explosive reaction, her slap no longer seeming like an isolated act but a culmination of hidden tensions and unspoken betrayals. Jasmine, realizing the full magnitude of the situation, tried to step back, her voice quivering. Rasheeda, let's talk about this, just you and me, no cameras, no crew, just us. But Rasheeda, still trembling with adrenaline, shook her head vehemently. No. Everyone needs to hear this. Everyone needs to know what you've been saying behind my back. The words sliced through the studio, amplifying the intensity of the moment. Kirk, desperate to regain some control, tried once more. Rasheeda, airing everything publicly won't help either of you. We need a solution, a way to handle this without destroying everything. But Rasheeda's glare pierced through his words. You think I care about calm solutions after what she said? After the betrayal? Fans watching the unfolding drama were glued to their screens, the comments section exploding with phrases like, I can't believe Rasheeda actually slapped her. And this is the reality TV moment of the year. Meanwhile, rumors began swirling that Jasmine had confided in someone else on set, possibly even Kirk, about private frustrations, which Rasheeda had somehow uncovered. The air was thick with tension, and no one knew what would happen next. Suddenly, a member of the production team tried to step in, holding up a clipboard as though that could somehow mediate the chaos. Ladies, please, this is getting out of control. But their voice was drowned out by the heated exchanges. Rasheeda's breathing was heavy, her fists clenched, each word she spat out a weapon of both anger and vulnerability. I trusted you. I considered you family. And this is how you repay me. Jasmine, tears now streaming down her face, raised her hands defensively. I never betrayed you. You have to believe me. It's not what it looks like. Kirk, caught in the middle, felt the weight of the entire situation pressing down on him. His voice cracked slightly as he shouted over the rising tension, enough. Both of you, stop. We have to handle this before it goes completely off the rails. But Rasheeda's resolve was unwavering. She looked around at the crew, cameras capturing every flicker of emotion, and declared, everyone deserves to know the truth. No more secrets. Fans began dissecting every second of the live footage, replaying the slap, analyzing facial expressions, and debating who was right and who was wrong. The drama didn't stop there. Sources close to the set claimed that Rasheeda had confronted Jasmine earlier in the day privately, and while it was tense, nothing explosive had occurred yet. The audio leak, which had surfaced online just hours before filming, had changed everything. It wasn't just a slip of gossip, it revealed intentions, frustrations, and alliances that neither woman could ignore. Rumors spread that the audio suggested Jasmine had been talking about Rasheeda's family, raising questions about loyalty, trust, and the authenticity of friendships on set. Rasheeda, already a woman known for her fiery temper and protective nature, felt cornered, humiliated, and determined to confront the situation head-on. Meanwhile, Jasmine's attempts to explain and clarify were seen by some as defensive and manipulative, fueling the fire even further. Kirk, desperately trying to mediate, found himself caught between protecting Rasheeda, defending Jasmine, and maintaining control over a set that was rapidly spiraling into chaos. Crew members were instructed to stay neutral, but whispers and glances told stories of their own. Some sympathized with Rasheeda's emotional reaction, others felt for Jasmine, who appeared vulnerable and overwhelmed. The clash of personalities, combined with the explosive context of the leaked audio, created a perfect storm of drama that no reality TV fan could have anticipated. As tensions escalated, Rasheeda's mother reportedly tried to guide her daughter away from the confrontation, but Rasheeda's eyes, still blazing with anger, refused to yield. I'm not walking away until she understands what she's done, she shouted. Jasmine, desperate to defuse the situation, stepped back and pleaded, Rasheeda, please, let's talk. You don't have to do this in front of everyone. But Rasheeda's resolve seemed unshakable. Cameras continued rolling, capturing every second of the high-stakes drama that was unfolding in real time. Social media feeds were inundated with clips, screenshots, and reactions as fans debated the motivations behind the slap, the content of the secret audio, and the future of the relationships on set. The energy in the studio was electric. Staff whispered hurriedly to one another, worried that the situation might escalate further, but unable to look away from the spectacle. Even Kirk, whose primary concern had been mediation, realized the extent to which emotions had taken control. "This isn't just a disagreement," he muttered under his breath. "This is something much deeper, something personal." The revelation only added to the intrigue. People speculated about the audio. Was it a personal attack, a professional criticism, or a mixture of both? And more importantly, who had leaked it, and why? These questions loomed over every exchange, every tear, every heated word spoken between Rasheeda and Jasmine. The tension was so thick that even small interactions, a glance, a gesture, a pause in speech, carried weight. It was a dance of accusation and defense, trust and betrayal, power and vulnerability, all unfolding on a public stage with millions watching. And just as the first round of emotions began to settle, another twist emerged. A text message reportedly arrived on Rasheeda's phone, containing further snippets from the leaked audio, more inflammatory, more personal, more devastating. Her reaction was immediate, her expression morphing from anger to a mixture of disbelief and renewed fury. "You lied to me? I can't believe you," she screamed, voice cracking as tears streamed down her face once more. Kirk rushed forward, heart pounding, trying to interject. "Rasheeda, please. Let's not do this now, let's step aside and talk privately." But the energy in the room had shifted irrevocably. The conflict had morphed into something larger than either woman, dragging everyone around them into the whirlwind. Crew members tried to contain cameras, producers whispered urgently, but fans watching from home only saw an ever-intensifying saga, complete with shouted accusations, tearful pleas, and the unmistakable tension of family, friendship, and betrayal, colliding in real time. And yet, through all the chaos, a curious dynamic emerged. Rasheeda's fury was tempered by flashes of hurt, while Jasmine's defensive posture revealed vulnerability beneath her shock. It was a collision of personalities, intentions, and emotions, magnified by the public nature of the confrontation. Kirk's interventions, while earnest, seemed almost symbolic, a reminder that someone was trying to maintain sanity in a situation rapidly spinning out of control. As the minutes stretched into what felt like hours, the implications of the audio leak began to settle in for everyone present. Every whispered conversation, every misinterpreted glance, every offhand remark seemed suddenly charged with meaning. The room was thick with suspense, with viewers and fans alike waiting for the next eruption, the next revelation, the next dramatic twist. Rasheeda's voice rose again, trembling with both fury and sorrow. "I can't believe I ever trusted you. You've betrayed me in front of everyone." Jasmine, nearly collapsing under the weight of the accusation, could only stammer, "I didn't mean for it to happen. I swear." Kirk's shoulders slumped slightly, the enormity of the conflict pressing down on him as he realized the reconciliation or the explosion was imminent. And just as it seemed the tension might finally ease, a shadow of another twist lingered in the air. The audio had more layers, more secrets, more consequences than anyone could have anticipated. Every word, every revelation, promised to keep the storm raging. Even as the cameras continued to roll and the audience at home waited, with bated breath. The first chapter of this reality TV saga had concluded in chaos, but the story was far from over. And as fans dissected every moment, every glance, every tear, one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same on this set again. The aftermath of the SLAP left the set in a surreal state, a mix of stunned silence and whispered chaos. Jasmine stood frozen, her hand lingering on her cheek, as if she could erase the impact simply by holding herself together. Rasheeda, still trembling from the release of emotions that had built up over weeks, paced like a caged lion, her eyes darting toward anyone who dared to look her way. Kirk, realizing that the first intervention hadn't worked, took a deep breath and tried a different approach. "We need to sit down. All of us. Right now," he urged, gesturing toward a nearby lounge area. Rasheeda's gaze softened slightly, though it was still charged with anger and hurt. Jasmine, still teary-eyed, nodded hesitantly, though each step she took seemed weighted with tension. The crew and production staff began arranging the space, trying to create an environment that felt neutral, though neutrality seemed impossible given the storm of emotions swirling around them. Once seated, the room felt both intimate and explosive, like a pressure cooker waiting to pop. Rasheeda's voice, when she finally spoke, was low but laced with venom. "I trusted you, Jasmine. I told you things I never told anyone. And then I hear you talking about me, about my family, my career, my choices like it's nothing, like I'm nothing. The words hung in the air, thick with accusation and pain. Jasmine's voice wavered as she responded, I never meant for anyone to hear those things. I was venting, yes, but it was private. Someone leaked it, I swear, it wasn't me. Kirk leaned forward, trying to mediate. Let's focus on the facts, not assumptions. We can't let this spiral further. Who leaked it? Can we verify it? Rasheeda's fists clenched again. Does it even matter? The damage is done. Everyone has heard it. Everyone has judged, and I am left to pick up the pieces. The room was tense, each heartbeat amplified by the knowledge that cameras had captured everything. Every argument now preserved for social media, fans, and gossip forums worldwide. Members of the production team whispered among themselves, concerned about how this would affect filming schedules, public relations, and the overall morale of the cast. Meanwhile, fans online were dissecting every word, every pause, every gesture, debating endlessly. Some took Rasheeda's side, lauding her for standing up for herself, while others sided with Jasmine, claiming she had been unfairly attacked. The narrative was spinning in multiple directions, and no one had control over it anymore. Just as Rasheeda seemed on the verge of calming down, her phone buzzed violently on the table. She glanced at the screen and her expression darkened further. It was another snippet from the leaked audio this time, more personal, more inflammatory. You lied to me, she muttered under her breath before suddenly bursting out. I can't believe you, Jasmine. How could you say those things about me? About my kids? About everything I've built? Jasmine's eyes widened, horror and remorse mixing in equal measure. I didn't know it would get out like this. I'm so sorry. Please, Rasheeda, I never meant to hurt you. The words barely seemed to penetrate the wall of emotion Rasheeda had erected. Kirk's patience was wearing thin, his attempts to mediate increasingly desperate. We need to calm down, everyone. This isn't just about feelings anymore, it's about trust, professionalism, and how we move forward without destroying everything. Rasheeda shot him a glare, the fire in her eyes refusing to be tamed. You don't get it, Kirk. You can't understand what it feels like to have someone you considered family betray you in front of the world. The room grew heavy with unspoken tension, the type that presses on the chest and makes it hard to breathe. Jasmine, shaking slightly, whispered, I never wanted this, none of this. But the words were lost in the emotional tornado that had engulfed the set. Outside the immediate confrontation, other cast members and family who had been quietly observing began to weigh in. Rasheeda's mother, stepping cautiously, attempted to calm her daughter. Baby, please, take a breath. We can sort this out. Without losing ourselves, she murmured, her tone gentle yet firm. But Rasheeda's storm had no intention of being soothed. No, everyone needs to know the truth, she snapped, each word cutting through the air like a knife. They need to know who she really is. The revelation sent another wave of shock across the room. Jasmine's face paled, realizing that what she had assumed might stay behind closed doors was now about to become public fodder for gossip and speculation. Kirk interjected, his voice rising with urgency. Enough. We cannot let this escalate further. We need to find a solution now. But solutions seemed impossible when emotions were raw, when trust had been shattered, and when a leaked audio had turned a personal conflict into a public spectacle. The tension reached a new peak when a producer, trying to regain control, suggested pausing filming until tempers cooled. Rasheeda, still trembling with a mix of rage and hurt, refused. No, I am not pausing until this is addressed. I am not hiding away while she continues to speak lies about me. Kirk looked around helplessly, realizing that even professional intervention might not be enough. Fans watching live streams were now witnessing a full-blown reality TV meltdown. Comments flooded in with shock, disbelief, and relentless speculation. Did Rasheeda really just slap her? Jasmine looks so vulnerable. This is heartbreaking. Kirk is trying, but it's chaos. The incident sparked a frenzy online, with every clip, every screenshot, and every comment feeding the fire. Meanwhile, the conversation between Rasheeda and Jasmine continued, oscillating between moments of intense confrontation and brief flashes of remorse. I trusted you, Rasheeda said, her voice breaking, and now I don't know if I can ever trust anyone again? Jasmine, nearly whispering, pleaded, please, Rasheeda, I never intended this. I was venting, I was frustrated. I didn't think it would get out like this. The emotional weight in the room was almost tangible, each second feeling like a lifetime. Kirk tried again, attempting to mediate with reason. We can address this together. Let's focus on understanding, not tearing each other apart. We can clarify, apologize, and move forward. But Rasheeda's gaze was unwavering, her pain and anger intertwining into a resolve that seemed unbreakable. I need to know who I can trust, she said firmly, and right now, I don't know if I can trust anyone, not you, not her, not even myself, sometimes. The raw honesty in her voice caused a momentary pause in the chaos. Kirk took a deep breath, realizing the depth of the emotional conflict. It wasn't just about the slap or the audio, it was about betrayal, loyalty, and shattered trust. The dynamics of the set had changed forever, and everyone present felt the weight of that shift. Fans online were dissecting every movement, every blink, every hesitation. The debate raged, each side offering their interpretation, speculating about the truth, and forming alliances based on snippets of video and text circulating on social media. Meanwhile, whispers emerged that the leaked audio might have more secrets, hidden layers that neither Rasheeda nor Jasmine had anticipated. The possibility of further revelations hung over the room like a storm cloud, threatening to unleash another wave of conflict at any moment. Rasheeda, sensing the fragile balance, addressed the crew and family, her voice quieter but still filled with intensity. Everyone needs to understand what's happening. This isn't just drama, it's about truth, and the truth will come out, whether we like it or not. Jasmine, tears streaming down her face, finally sat down fully, her body trembling as she tried to regain composure. I just didn't think anyone would hear it. I didn't think it would matter this much. Kirk, exasperated but determined, leaned back, rubbing his temples. This is bigger than all of us right now. Bigger than the slap, bigger than the audio. We need to find a way to move forward before more damage is done. Rasheeda's mother placed a gentle hand on her daughter's shoulder, silently offering support. While Rasheeda's eyes softened for just a fraction of a second, a fleeting reminder of vulnerability beneath the rage. Yet the storm was far from over. Rumors continued to swirl about who leaked the audio, why it had surfaced now, and what other secrets might be hidden beneath the surface. The room was a microcosm of tension, loyalty, fear, and heartbreak, each person grappling with their own stakes while trying to navigate the unfolding chaos. As the first round of confrontation began to settle, another twist emerged. A crew member discreetly handed Rasheeda another message, this one from an unknown source, hinting at yet more revelations that could change the dynamics even further. Her eyes widened, a mixture of shock and renewed fury crossing her face. This is never going to end, is it? She muttered under her breath. Kirk, sensing the escalation, sighed deeply. It's not about ending, it's about managing. We need to manage this before it consumes everything. But in a room where emotions were raw, trust was broken, and the public eye was relentless, managing the situation seemed almost impossible. The tension between Rasheeda and Jasmine was now layered with anticipation, fear, and unresolved questions. Who had leaked the audio? What was said exactly? And how would it affect their relationship, the family dynamics, and the public perception moving forward? Each unanswered question added fuel to the fire, making the next moment unpredictable. As the cameras continued rolling, capturing every reaction, every glance, every tear, it became clear that this was more than just a slap. It was the catalyst for a series of revelations, conflicts, and dramatic turns that would define the narrative for weeks to come. Fans watched, mesmerized, commenting furiously, sharing clips, and debating endlessly as the drama unfolded in real time. The tension was palpable, and the storm that had begun with a single slap now threatened to engulf everyone on set. And, just when it seemed that some calm might finally be achieved, another message arrived, another revelation hinted, ensuring that the chaos was far from over. The first chapter of the post-slap drama was complete, but the story was only beginning to spiral into deeper, more unpredictable territory. As the tension on set lingered like a thick fog, the atmosphere became almost suffocating. Rasheeda, still trembling with a mix of fury and disbelief, refused to sit quietly, pacing back and forth while her mind raced over the revelations from the leaked audio. Each step seemed to echo the anger and heartbreak that had overtaken her, while Jasmine sat nearby, her hands clasped tightly together, her face pale and drawn as she tried to brace herself for the next onslaught. Kirk, caught in the middle, could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on him, knowing that one wrong word could ignite another eruption. We have to talk this through, he urged, trying to maintain a sense of order. Hurting each other further won't solve anything. But Rasheeda's gaze, sharp and unwavering, cut through his plea. Talking doesn't undo the betrayal, Kirk. Talking doesn't erase the fact that my trust was shattered. The crew, sensing another escalation, quietly stepped back. Cameras still capturing every moment. Fully aware that they were witnessing a reality TV showdown that would be dissected by fans for weeks. Jasmine's voice trembled as she tried to defend herself. Rasheeda, please. I didn't leak it. I didn't say those things to anyone. It wasn't supposed to get out. Her eyes, glistening with tears, pleaded for understanding, but Rasheeda's expression hardened. How am I supposed to believe you after everything I've heard? After the things you said about me, about my family, about our friendship? The room was electric with emotion, the clash of words, gestures, and unresolved tension filling every corner. Then, just as it seemed the confrontation might de-escalate slightly, a phone buzzed loudly on the table, drawing everyone's attention. Rasheeda's assistant handed her the device, and she glanced at the screen with a flicker of shock before her face contorted into renewed fury. Another snippet had surfaced, this one even more revealing, exposing not only conversations but intentions and manipulations that Rasheeda never imagined. This is too much, Rasheeda exclaimed, her voice a mixture of anger, hurt, and disbelief. Every lie, every secret, every betrayal, it's all coming out now. Jasmine gasped, covering her mouth with her hand, her body trembling. I never wanted any of this. Please, Rasheeda, I didn't do it, I swear. Kirk stepped closer, his patience fraying but his resolve unbroken. Listen, we have to focus on clarity. We need to figure out who leaked this, what the content actually says, and how we address it without destroying everyone involved. Rasheeda's glare could have cut through steel. You don't get it. Clarity doesn't fix broken trust. Clarity doesn't erase humiliation in front of cameras and fans. The production team exchanged worried glances, realizing that this conflict had grown beyond a private matter. It had become a spectacle, a story with tentacles reaching into social media, fan forums, and gossip outlets. Fans were already dissecting clips, analyzing body language, and debating endlessly. Some defended Rasheeda, applauding her for standing up for herself, while others sympathized with Jasmine, arguing that she had been pushed to a breaking point, and now faced an unfair backlash. The narrative had split, each side fervently discussing motives, guilt, and possible consequences. Rasheeda, pacing and visibly shaking, suddenly stopped and addressed the room. Everyone deserves to know who she really is. If my truth is hidden, if my pain is ignored, I will make it known myself. Her words sent a ripple of shock and whispers through the crew. Kirk's voice rose again, trying to intervene. Rasheeda, please. Escalating this publicly will only hurt everyone. We need to plan a way to handle this without creating more chaos. But Rasheeda's focus was singular. She wanted the world to understand the betrayal, to see the truth as she perceived it, to know the depth of the pain she felt. Jasmine, meanwhile, sat with her head in her hands, her voice almost a whisper. I didn't think it would get this far. I didn't think anyone would hear. Rasheeda's eyes narrowed, her tone sharp and cutting. Not think. That's your excuse. You think venting behind my back, spreading lies, and being careless doesn't have consequences. That's what brought us here. The intensity of the room was palpable. Every word and reaction magnified by the cameras and the ever-watchful eyes of the audience online. Fans commented furiously, streaming clips, screenshots, and reactions. Some hashtags started trending immediately. Hashtag RASHEEDAV's Jasmine, hashtag reality TV meltdown, hashtag Kirk caught in the middle. The drama was no longer confined to the studio. It had spilled into the digital world, creating waves of speculation, judgment, and heated debate. Just as it seemed that the verbal confrontation had reached a peak, a new twist emerged. A text message, sent anonymously to Rasheeda, hinted at further revelations about Jasmine's intentions, her past actions, and her alliances on set. Rasheeda's eyes widened as she read, her hands shaking as she absorbed the contents. Yuck, lead again, she whispered, more to herself than to anyone else. I trusted you, and you keep lying. Jasmine, seeing the renewed anger, stood up, her voice pleading but firm. Rasheeda, I never lied to you. Please, believe me. I didn't do this, I swear. The tension was suffocating, the weight of emotions pressing down on everyone in the room. Kirk, feeling the pressure of the moment, raised his voice, trying one last time to bring some semblance of control. Enough. We need to breathe. Step back. This isn't about who's right or wrong. Right now it's about preventing more damage. But Rasheeda, her emotions, a volatile mix of anger, betrayal, and hurt, was unstoppable. Damage. She shot back. The damage is already done. Every word, every whisper, every leak hits, all already out there. The room seemed to tremble under the intensity of her words, and the crew cautiously moved to give the two women space while still capturing the unfolding drama. Fans online were in a frenzy, dissecting every interaction, replaying clips, and debating endlessly. Every gesture, every glance, every tear was analyzed, interpreted, and shared. The narrative had become a public spectacle, feeding the drama even further. As the minutes passed, the conversation shifted slightly, though tension remained high. Rasheeda, now slightly calmer but still charged with emotion, addressed Jasmine directly. If you want to salvage anything between us, if you want to prove that you're trustworthy, then tell me everything. No more lies, no more hiding. Jasmine, her voice quivering, nodded. I will. I'll tell you everything. Please, just listen. Kirk, relieved that the dialogue had taken a step toward resolution, urged them to continue in a controlled manner. Let's do this carefully. Let's get to the bottom of it without destroying ourselves further. As Jasmine began to recount her side, the story unfolded with layers of misunderstanding, frustration, and unintended consequences. The leaked audio had captured snippets of conversations that were taken out of context, amplified by emotion, and spread without verification. Rasheeda listened, her expression a mix of skepticism, pain, and slow understanding. As the truth began to clarify, but the hurt was still raw, and trust remained fragile. Crew members and family quietly observed, recognizing that this was a pivotal moment, one that could either lead to reconciliation or escalate further into irreparable conflict. Fans online continued to speculate, debating who was more at fault, analyzing facial expressions, and forming theories about hidden motives and alliances. Then, another unexpected twist emerged. A social media account claiming insider knowledge posted additional audio clips, reigniting the firestorm. Rasheeda, furious and overwhelmed, shouted, "More lies. More betrayal. It never ends." Jasmine's response was desperate, almost pleading. "I can't control what's out there. I didn't do this." Kirk, trying to maintain calm amidst the chaos, realized the situation had grown beyond personal conflict. TET had become a public spectacle that would define reputations, friendships, and careers. He attempted one last intervention. "Rasheeda, Jasmine, listen to me. The leaks, the clips, the rumors, they're out of our control now. What we can control is how we respond, how we address this, and how we move forward without destroying ourselves." Rasheeda, breathing heavily, finally paused, her gaze shifting between Kirk and Jasmine. The weight of the moment pressed down on her, the realization that some things were already public and irreversible settling in. Jasmine, tears streaming down her face, whispered, I just wanted to be heard. I didn't mean to hurt you." Rasheeda's voice softened slightly, though her eyes still burned with emotion. "You hurt me, Jasmine, but maybe we can try to fix this. Slowly, carefully, but it won't be easy." The room, though still tense, felt a momentary shift. Fans online were still debating, clips continued to circulate, and speculation ran rampant. Yet within the set, a fragile bridge of dialogue had begun to form, a tentative step toward reconciliation, though the storm of emotions, leaked audios, and public scrutiny was far from over. Kirk exhaled slowly, knowing that while this moment was a step forward, the path ahead would be filled with challenges, surprises, and emotional battles that none of them could predict. The first wave of confrontation had passed, but the ripple effects would continue to shape interactions, alliances, and drama for weeks to come. And as the cameras rolled, capturing every reaction, every tear, every word, it was clear that the story was far from finished. This was just another chapter in a saga that would keep fans hooked, hearts racing, and social media buzzing long after the set had emptied. The final wave of tension hung over the set like a storm ready to break again. But something had shifted. Rasheeda, though still visibly charged with anger and hurt, now carried a glimmer of determination, not just to confront Jasmine, but to reclaim her narrative in the chaos unleashed by the leaked audio. Jasmine, sitting tensely nearby, still shook with a mixture of fear, regret, and the realization of how public their personal conflict had become. Kirk, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders, tried one last time to orchestrate a sense of calm and structure amidst the whirlwind. "Listen," he said, voice firm yet controlled. "We've seen the worst of it already. What matters now is how we respond. We can either let this consume us, or we can start addressing it piece by piece." Rasheeda's eyes blazed, but a flicker of comprehension softened her features. "Addressing it piece by piece? You think it's that simple? After what I've just heard, after being humiliated in front of the cameras, the crew, and everyone online?" Kirk nodded. "I know it's not simple, but the alternative, letting anger control every move, will only make it worse." Jasmine swallowed hard, tears streaming down her face, her voice barely a whisper. "I just want to fix this. I don't want to be your enemy." Rasheeda's chest heaved as she wrestled with the whirlwind of emotions inside her. The leaked audio had exposed layers of secrecy, hidden intentions, and offhand remarks that had now become impossible to ignore. Each revelation felt like a personal blow, and yet, beneath the anger, she still recognized the vulnerability in Jasmine's eyes, the genuine fear and remorse that mirrored her own emotional turmoil. "Do you even understand the damage?" Rasheeda demanded, her voice trembling. "This isn't just about us. It's about everything we've built, our relationships, and how people perceive us. Fans, family, friends, they're all watching." Jasmine nodded, words caught in her throat. "I know. I see that now. I never imagined it would get so out of hand." The crew, cautiously observing from the sidelines, noted the shift in dynamic. What had started as a raw, public confrontation was slowly transforming into a tense but deliberate negotiation of feelings, truths, and apologies. Cameras continued to roll, capturing every nuance of facial expressions, every tentative step toward reconciliation. Kirk, sensing the moment, leaned forward. "Rasheeda, Jasmine, maybe it's time to air the full story. Let's get everything out in the open, no assumptions, no interruptions, just honesty." Rasheeda took a shaky breath, glancing at Jasmine with a mixture of wariness and hope. "Fine, but this has to be complete. No half-truths, no hiding behind excuses." Jasmine nodded, finally meeting Rasheeda's gaze. "I'll tell you everything. Every word, every thought, every moment that led to this." What followed was an emotional, intense, and at times painful recounting of events, misunderstandings, private grievances, and unintended consequences, all revealed with raw honesty. Rasheeda listened, sometimes interrupting with pointed questions, sometimes allowing silence to carry the weight of reflection. Kirk, though exhausted, kept the dialogue flowing, ensuring that each side felt heard while preventing emotions from boiling over again. As the conversation progressed, moments of clarity emerged. Rasheeda began to understand that some of the hurt was amplified by misunderstandings, rumors, and the out-of-context nature of the leaked audio. Jasmine, meanwhile, realized the depth of Rasheeda's emotional investment in their relationship and the personal stakes involved. The room, though still charged, began to feel slightly less like a battlefield and more like a space for accountability and potential reconciliation. Yet, the digital world outside remained relentless. Social media continued to dissect every word, every gesture, every tear, amplifying drama in ways that neither Rasheeda nor Jasmine could control. Fans debated fiercely, forming factions, sharing clips, and speculating on motives and outcomes. The pressure of public scrutiny added another layer to the already complex emotional landscape on set. Amidst this chaos, Rasheeda made a pivotal declaration. "If we're going to move forward, we have to be transparent, not just for ourselves, but for everyone watching. I won't let lies dictate my reality." Jasmine, her voice small but sincere, replied, "I agree. I want to make this right. I don't want this to define us or destroy what we had." Kirk, relieved at the apparent willingness for dialogue, reminded them, "It's a process. It won't be instant and it won't be easy. But honesty, accountability, and patience are the first steps." As the tension gradually eased, yet remained palpable, the leaked audio's implications were acknowledged, but reframed as a catalyst for necessary confrontation rather than an insurmountable obstacle. Rasheeda and Jasmine both recognized the emotional toll and the lessons to be learned about communication, trust, and the consequences of private conversations becoming public. The production team, sensing a tentative resolution, offered support and guidance for managing the aftermath both on set and in the public eye. Cameras captured every hesitant smile, every deep breath, every subtle nod, the small but significant gestures signaling that the storm, while not fully past, was beginning to abate. Fans watching online continued to engage fervently, but glimpses of vulnerability and sincerity offered moments of relatability amidst the sensational drama. Kirk, observing the fragile peace forming, knew the path ahead would require ongoing effort, open dialogue, and emotional resilience from everyone involved. He encouraged both women to take it one step at a time, reminding them that rebuilding trust was possible, but only if approached with patience and genuine intention. Rasheeda, taking a final deep breath, turned toward Jasmine. "This isn't over, not entirely, but maybe we can start over carefully, honestly, and without secrets." Jasmine nodded, a tear slipping down her cheek, yet a tentative smile breaking through. "I'd like that. I really would." And so, in a room that had witnessed one of the most intense, public confrontations imaginable, a tentative truce emerged. The slap, the audio leak, the heated arguments, and the heartbreak had all led to this moment, a fragile but meaningful step toward understanding and reconciliation. The storm outside continued to rage across social media, but inside, a controlled dialogue offered a glimpse of hope. Fans, while still divided, were captivated by the complexity, the raw emotion, and the possibility of redemption and healing. The cameras, ever faithful, recorded the nuance of reconciliation, capturing gestures of vulnerability, apologies uttered with sincerity, and the weight of emotions slowly lifting. The narrative, while far from neatly resolved, had evolved from a simple act of conflict into a multi-layered story of betrayal, accountability, and the arduous path toward rebuilding trust. And as Rasheeda, Jasmine, and Kirk navigated this delicate terrain, one truth became evident. Reality TV, for all its spectacle, mirrors the real human experience, messy, emotional, unpredictable, and ultimately capable of moments of profound understanding and connection, even amidst chaos. The leaked audio, the slap, and the explosive confrontations had set the stage. But it was the willingness to communicate, to face the consequences, and to confront uncomfortable truths that would define the next chapter of this saga. And as the day on set drew to a close, with cameras still rolling and fans watching from afar, one thing was clear: the drama was far from over. But the first steps toward resolution and a deeper understanding of trust, loyalty, and human complexity had begun. The events on set have left fans and insiders alike reeling, as the shocking slap, leaked audio, and fiery confrontations have reshaped relationships and revealed hidden tensions that no one saw coming. Rasheeda and Jasmine, once close friends and collaborators, now face the daunting task of navigating the aftermath, balancing public scrutiny with personal emotions. The questions linger: who was truly responsible for the leak? Will trust ever be fully restored? And how will this drama affect not only their personal connection but also their careers and public image? As we watched every heated argument, tearful apology, and moment of raw honesty, it became clear that reality TV isn't just about scripted moments, it's about real human emotions, messy confrontations, and the fragile bonds of trust tested under pressure. Fans are left divided, taking sides, speculating on motives, and analyzing every clip, proving once again how influential and addictive these dramatic moments can be. The story is far from over, with social media, insider leaks, and future episodes promising more twists and revelations that could change the narrative completely. You, as a viewer, have witnessed the tension, the heartbreak, and the attempts at reconciliation firsthand. Now it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think really happened behind the scenes? Who do you believe is at fault? And what do you predict will happen next as Rasheeda and Jasmine try to navigate this storm? Share your thoughts in the comments, join the conversation, and don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed this deep dive into the drama. Make sure to subscribe for more shocking revelations, insider stories, and the latest updates from your favorite reality TV stars. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the chaos, the conflict, and the unforgettable drama that keeps fans talking long after the cameras stop rolling. Your opinion matters, and the conversation doesn't end here. Stay engaged, stay intrigued, and stay tuned for the next explosive twist in this real-life reality saga. Rasheeda thought she had seen it all: years of rebuilding, reconciliation, and holding her family together against all odds. But nothing could have prepared her or fans for this. Just when everyone believed the storm had passed in the Frost household, a new scandal has erupted that's tearing apart everything Rasheeda fought so hard to protect, in a stunning twist that's left viewers gasping and social media in absolute chaos. Fresh allegations have surfaced about Kirk Frost and his long-forgotten flame, Jasmine Washington. And this time, it's not just whispers. It's video footage, receipts, confessions, truth bombs that no amount of damage control can contain. It all started with a cryptic Instagram story posted late at night by a mutual friend of Jasmine's. Just a shaky video of Kirk entering what looked like Jasmine's building. But it didn't end there. Within 24 hours, Jasmine herself stepped forward, not with denial, but with confirmation. And if that wasn't jaw-dropping enough, she dropped a voice recording, a recording that allegedly catches Kirk saying things no married man should ever say. "I messed up. Again. I still care about you, Jasmine." The internet erupted. Rasheeda's inner circle was blindsided. Friends close to the couple revealed Rasheeda had been suspicious for weeks but had no proof. That is, until now. Cameras captured the moment Rasheeda received the evidence, and let's just say, emotions ran high. Word spread fast. Cast members from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta started choosing sides. Some believe Kirk is being set up. Others say he's been playing Rasheeda all along. Fans are in disbelief. How could Kirk betray Rasheeda again after everything she's forgiven him for? And why is Jasmine back in the picture at this exact moment? Was it all a setup? Or has Kirk been living a double life? Right under Rasheeda's nose. As the drama unfolds in real time, the Frost family's carefully mended image is starting to crack. Betrayal, secrets, a woman scorned, and the terrifying possibility that this could finally be the end for Rasheeda and Kirk. Buckle up. Because what you're about to witness is nothing short of a reality TV meltdown, and nobody's coming out unscathed. It was supposed to be a quiet Thursday afternoon. Rasheeda had just wrapped up a photo shoot for her fashion line. Smiling for cameras, greeting fans, and managing business like the boss woman she's always been. There was no warning. No sign that her world was about to flip upside down. She walked into her home, her sanctuary, only to be met with an energy shift. Her phone buzzed nonstop. Messages poured in. "Girl, is it true? Have you seen Jasmine's story? You okay?" At first, Rasheeda dismissed it as just another internet rumor, another attempt by the public to stir drama from an old wound. But then she opened the video. There it was. Grainy footage but unmistakably Kirk entering Jasmine's apartment complex at nearly midnight. A date stamp, a location tag, and the worst part, that familiar look in his eyes, one that always gave him away when he was hiding something. Rasheeda sat on the edge of her bed, numb. The air felt heavy. Her mind raced as the walls around her seemed to close in. Could it be true? Again? After all these years of rebuilding, therapy, public humiliation, and recommitment, she had forgiven Kirk for cheating before. She had stood by him even after Jasmine's pregnancy. She had swallowed her pride in front of the world, raising his child as if he were her own. But if this was happening again, if Kirk had gone back to Jasmine, it wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation on a global stage. Just then, her phone rang. It was Bambi, her friend and fellow cast member. "Sis, have you talked to Kirk? You need to see this." Jasmine posted more. Rasheeda's hands shook as she tapped through Jasmine's stories. A still photo. Kirk's truck parked outside. Then an audio recording. Rasheeda's breath caught in her throat. Kirk's voice. "I messed up. I ain't never stopped thinking about you. I didn't know how to come back." Jasmine's voice followed. .com. Calculated. "So you just sneak around and play house with me behind Rasheeda's back again? What do you want from me this time, Kirk?" The recording ended abruptly, but the damage was already done. Rasheeda's heart pounded as she threw her phone across the bed. This wasn't a rumor. It wasn't a doctored video. It was real. Too real. She picked up the phone and called Kirk. No answer. She called again. Voicemail. Again. Straight to voicemail. By the third call, she was in tears. Rage, heartbreak, and disbelief churned in her chest like a storm with no end. Meanwhile, the internet had caught fire. Twitter exploded. Kirk Frost back with Jasmine. Rasheeda deserves so much better. Not again, Kirk. The memes were brutal. The hashtags unforgiving, hashtag poor Rasheeda, hashtag Kirk AINT, Shit hashtag Jasmine strikes back. Everyone had an opinion, and no one held back. But while fans debated, Rasheeda sat alone, devastated, betrayed, and publicly humiliated once again. Across town, cameras followed Kirk as he stepped out of the same apartment complex, face tense, jaw locked, eyes low. When asked by producers if he wanted to talk about what happened, Kirk simply said, "Man, not now. I need to fix this before it explodes." But it was too late. The explosion had already happened. Hours later, Rasheeda was seen arriving at her mother's house. Tears streamed down her face as she hugged Ms. Charlene, who had always been wary of Kirk's intentions. "Mama, I don't know if I can do this again," Rasheeda sobbed. Charlene rubbed her back gently but firmly. "I told you, baby. A man who cheats once might cheat twice. But now he got you looking like a fool, again, and I'm not okay with that." Rasheeda wiped her face, nodding slowly. "This ain't just about me anymore. It's about the kids, the business, our whole life. He's put everything we built at risk." That evening, Rasheeda met with her closest friends Bambi, Erica Dixon, and Spice to talk things through. The cameras were rolling, but the emotion was raw and real. "Y'all, I'm not okay," Rasheeda admitted, her voice trembling. "I don't even know what to say to him. I can't eat. I can't sleep. How could he do this again?" Bambi leaned forward, anger flashing in her eyes. "If this was me, girl, he'd be out. Point blank, period," Erica added. "You gave him chance after chance. You raised his child, you put your pride aside for that man. If this is real, if he really went back to Jasmine, that's unforgivable." The tension was thick. Spice tried to lighten the mood, but even she couldn't hide her disappointment. "I just can't believe he'd risk everything for that. After all this time." Rasheeda shook her head, numb and exhausted, and she knew what she was doing too. Posting that video. That wasn't random. That was strategic. She wanted to hurt me? The women nodded in agreement. The betrayal wasn't just Kirk's, it was Jasmine's too. A betrayal that ran deep and reopened wounds that had never truly healed. Just then, Rasheeda's phone rang again. This time, it was Kirk. After hesitating, she answered, putting him on speaker. His voice was low and hesitant. "Babe, we need to talk." Silence. Then Rasheeda replied coldly, "Do we? Or do you need to go explain yourself to Jasmine?" Again, Kirk sighed. "It wasn't like that. It wasn't what it looked like." Bambi rolled her eyes in the background, muttering, "Here we go." Rasheeda clenched her jaw. "Then what was it?" "Kirk, because you sure sounded emotional. In that recording." Kirk tried to speak, but she cut him off. "I'm done being the one who keeps this family together while you keep tearing it apart." As the call ended, Rasheeda's resolve hardened. This wasn't going to be swept under the rug. She wasn't going to protect him this time. The world had seen it. She had seen it. And now Kirk would have to face the consequences. But just as she thought she had reached the breaking point, the real twist was still waiting. A phone call. A message. A truth that would leave her even more shattered than before. The next morning brought no peace. Rasheeda barely slept, and the weight of the scandal pressed on her like 1,000 bricks. As she sat at the kitchen table in her mother's house, still in her robe, sipping cold coffee she hadn't touched, her phone buzzed again. It wasn't more fan messages or shade from blogs. It was something else. A message from an unknown number. No text, just a video. She hesitated. Her heart thudded against her ribs. Against her better judgment, she tapped play. The video opened to a hotel room, dim lighting, cheap decor, time-stamped 2 weeks ago, and there he was. Kirk, sitting on the bed, shirt off, laughing, and next to him, Jasmine, in a towel, smiling, flirting, clearly comfortable. The person filming whispered, "They think they slick," before the video cut off. Rasheeda screamed. The sound that left her mouth wasn't just pain, it was years of betrayal erupting all at once. She slammed the phone down, trembling, gasping for air. "Mama," she cried out. Charlene ran into the room and grabbed her daughter, who was crumbling before her eyes. "Baby, what happened?" Rasheeda could barely get the words out. He's been with her. Not just once. It's been going on. And people knew. They recorded it. Mama. They sent it to me." Charlene, now livid, grabbed the phone and watched the video herself. Her face twisted with rage. "Oh hell no. This man is not just playing games, he's destroying you." Rasheeda stood up, suddenly, chest heaving. "I'm done hiding. I'm going on live. I'm telling my truth. I've protected him for too long. Before Charlene could stop her, Rasheeda went upstairs, fixed her hair, wiped her face, and sat down in front of her phone. With trembling hands, she pressed go live. Within minutes, thousands tuned in. Fans, haters, castmates all waiting to hear her speak. Hey y'all, Rasheeda began, her voice steady but strained. I wasn't gonna do this, but I'm tired. I'm tired of being quiet. I'm tired of protecting people who don't protect me. And I'm especially tired of being lied to by the one person who swore he'd never hurt me again. Her comments section exploded. We love you, Rasheeda, not Kirk again. You deserve better. She continued, I've seen the videos. I've heard the recordings. And I'm here to say this now. Kirk Frost thinks he can disrespect me and our family behind closed doors and pretend everything's fine in public. He's got another thing coming. While Rasheeda bared her soul online, Kirk was across town in damage control mode. He met up with Scrappy, who looked him dead in the eye and said, Bro, what is you doing? I mean, really? Kirk paced back and forth. It got out of hand. Man, I didn't mean for it to be like this. Scrappy folded his arms. You didn't mean? Kirk, she's live right now, spilling her heart while the whole internet watches. You messed up again, and now she's catching all the heat. Kirk sat down, rubbing his face. I felt like Jasmine and I had unfinished business. We got a kid together. I thought maybe I owed her a real conversation. Scrappy raised an eyebrow. A real conversation? Shirt off. Hotel room. Nah, brew. That ain't no talk. That's disrespect. Plain and simple. Meanwhile, Jasmine was reveling in the spotlight. She posted a selfie with the caption, Not my fault, he keeps running back. The comments were brutal. Some fans called her out, others praised her for being bold. But Jasmine didn't care. She wanted one thing, to reclaim her place in Kirk's life and, maybe even on the show. And with Kirk now exposed and Rasheeda spiraling, it seemed she was winning. Later that day, Rasheeda met up with Yandi and Sierra for emotional support. The restaurant was quiet, but her voice shook with pain. I feel like a damn fool. I gave him everything. And he threw it away for her again. Yandi reached for her hand. No, you're not a fool. You're a woman who loved hard. You're a woman who forgave when most would have walked away. Sierra chimed in. But now it's time to love yourself harder. To put you first. Rasheeda nodded slowly. I just don't know what to do. Do I kick him out? Do I end the marriage? We've built an empire together. Yandi's eyes filled with empathy. You built that empire. With or without him, you'll be fine. Back at home, Kirk finally showed up. Rasheeda didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just stared at him, cold and tired. I saw the video, she said flatly. Kirk's face dropped. It's not what it looks like. Rasheeda scoffed. Don't insult me. Kirk, I've heard that line before. It is what it looks like. He moved toward her, hands out. Please, can we talk? She backed away. Talk now you want to talk. You had plenty of time to talk before you walked back into that woman's life. He pleaded, Rasheeda, I messed up. I know, but I love you. I don't love her. I never stopped loving you. Her voice cracked. Then why wasn't I enough? Silence filled the room. Kirk looked down. No answer. The next few hours were a blur. Rasheeda left the house again, this time to a hotel. She needed space. She needed air. But just when she thought the worst was over, her assistant called. Hey, you need to see what Jasmine posted now. Rasheeda sighed, already exhausted. What now? The assistant replied hesitantly. A sonogram, with a caption that says, Round 2. Rasheeda froze. Her skin went cold. No, 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 no. That can't be real. She pulled up the post. There it was. A grainy ultrasound image. Jasmine tagged Kirk. And the caption, guess who's gonna be a big brother? Her scream could have shattered glass. Everything shattered. The pain. The betrayal. And now a possible pregnancy. Kirk's second child with Jasmine. The room spun. Her knees buckled. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was war. And it was far from over. Kirk Frost sat in his car, parked in the driveway of their Atlanta home, hands clenched around the steering wheel. His phone buzzed with missed calls, unread texts, and a tidal wave of angry DMIs. But all he could stare at was Jasmine's latest post, the sonogram, the baby, the tag. His name attached to a digital bombshell that had just detonated his life. Round 2. She'd written like it was a game. But to Kirk, this wasn't just about another mistake. This was the consequence of a web of lies finally collapsing around him. He never thought Jasmine would take it that far. Never expected she'd come for Rasheeda this publicly. And now, he wasn't even sure if the baby was his. Inside, Rasheeda was silent. Her face drained of all color. Ms. Shirlene paced the room like a lioness preparing for war. "I'm telling you right now," she snapped. "If this man got that woman pregnant again, I'ma lay hands." Holy or not, Rasheeda didn't respond. Her eyes stayed glued to the screen, to the sonogram, to the public humiliation that was multiplying by the minute. "I can't breathe," she whispered, finally. "It feels like the world is watching me drown, and I can't scream loud enough to stop it." And outside, Kirk finally opened the car door, walked slowly up the porch, and rang the bell to his house, the house he might no longer be welcome in. Shirlene opened the door and didn't move aside. "I should slap you into next week," she growled. Kirk looked exhausted. "I just need to talk to Rasheeda," he said quietly. Shirlene stepped aside, but not before jabbing a finger into his chest. "You better pray this ain't your baby, because if it is, boy, you better disappear." He stepped inside. The air was thick. Rasheeda was seated like a statue, graceful but hardened, emotionally armored like a woman at war. "I just need to know," she said without looking at him. "Is it yours?" Kirk sat down slowly. "I don't know. I swear I don't." Her voice was sharp. "So it could be." Silence. That silence said more than any words ever could. He leaned forward, desperation taking over. "Rasheeda, I didn't even know she was gonna post that. She's trying to destroy everything. I made a mistake going to see her, but I didn't sleep with her again. I swear on everything, I didn't." Rasheeda narrowed her eyes. "Then why would she say it's yours?" Kirk shook his head. "Because she's bitter. She sees I'm not leaving you. She wants to trap me again." Rasheeda barked out a humorless laugh. "You were never trapped, you volunteered." Across town, Jasmine was doing interviews. She knew exactly what she was doing. "Look," she told the interviewer with a smirk, "I'm not trying to be messy. I'm just living my truth. Kirk was in my life again. If I'm pregnant, that's our business." But Rasheeda knew what she signed up for when she forgave him last time. You don't forgive a cheater and then act shocked when he cheats again. Social media exploded. Some were calling Jasmine brave. Others labeled her manipulative and vindictive. But one thing was certain, everyone was talking about it. Back at the Frost household, things only grew more tense. "We need a DNA test," Rasheeda said coldly. Kirk nodded. "I'll do whatever it takes to prove it's not mine." But Rasheeda wasn't just thinking about the test. She was thinking about everything else. The trust broken. The public embarrassment. The whispers from friends and family. The empire they've built now crumbling under the weight of Kirk's choices. "I need time," she said finally. "I need space. Don't come back here until I say so." Kirk's face twisted in pain, but he nodded. "Okay," he whispered. "I'll go." As Kirk left, cameras captured Rasheeda collapsing into tears the moment the door shut. Her friends arrived minutes later, and what followed was one of the most emotional scenes of her life. "I feel like a damn punchline," she sobbed into Bambi's arms. "Like I'm the joke that never ends. I can't be strong anymore. I don't want to be strong anymore." Sierra sat beside her. "You don't have to be. We're here. Let the whole world watch." "But no, you're not alone." Meanwhile, Kirk moved into a hotel downtown, where Scrappy came to check on him. "You messed up bad, bro," Scrappy said. "I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This ain't just drama. This could be the end." Kirk nodded, defeated. "I know, I just didn't think she'd come for me like this. Jasmine, she was just supposed to be a conversation. Closure." Scrappy frowned. "Ain't no such thing as closure with an ex you cheated with. You should have cut that tie a long time ago." Back at the hotel, Rasheeda sat down with producers for a confessional. "You want to know how I feel?" she asked the camera. "I feel like I was the only one who took this marriage seriously. I was the only one fighting. And while I was out here building our brand, defending him, raising his son, he was out here still lying, still sneaking. And now the whole world gets to see me break. But you know what? Maybe I need to break. Maybe this is the only way I'll rebuild stronger." As the days passed, the DNA test was scheduled, and while everyone waited for the results, Jasmine continued to fuel the fire. Paparazzi caught her outside a studio filming confessionals. "I didn't lie," she told cameras. "I don't need Kirk to raise this baby. I just think people should know the truth. He came back to me. That's the real headline. The Frost family, once seen as the model for forgiveness and growth, now sat on the edge of total collapse. Rasheeda's sons were confused and upset. Her team was overwhelmed managing the fallout for their brand. And yet, through all of it, Rasheeda kept moving. One photo shoot, one meeting, one tear at a time. But the final blow had yet to land, because when the test results finally arrived, they carried a truth that no one, not even Jasmine, was prepared for. The envelope sat unopened on the hotel nightstand, as if mocking Kirk with its silent weight. The DNA results had arrived that morning, delivered in person to avoid leaks, but Kirk hadn't found the strength to face the truth yet. He sat at the edge of the bed, staring at the envelope, palms sweaty, leg bouncing. All the chaos, the drama, the shamit, all came down to this. A single piece of paper would decide whether he had detonated his entire life for the second time. With a trembling hand, he picked it up, breathed in, and tore the seal. Paternity exclusion, 99%. He exhaled like someone who had been drowning for days and finally reached the surface. "It's not mine," he whispered, stunned. He read it again, then again. It didn't feel like a victory, just a brief pause in a storm of his own making. He knew the truth now, but the damage had already been done. He had broken Rasheeda again, and no test result could erase that. He called her. Straight to voicemail. He texted. No reply. He tried calling Bambi, then Erica. Nothing. Nobody wanted to help him now. They'd all seen what he did. They saw the tears, the rage, the humiliation Rasheeda endured at his hands again. Finally, he sent a screenshot of the results directly to Rasheeda, followed by a single message. "I know it doesn't fix anything, but I needed you to see the truth." Meanwhile, Rasheeda was in the studio, silent as the message popped up on her screen. Her eyes scanned the result. Her shoulders dropped. A sigh escaped her lips, but it wasn't relief. It was exhaustion. Bambi, sitting across from her, asked, gently, "Is it his?" Rasheeda shook her head. "No, he's not the father." Bambi leaned in. "So what now?" Rasheeda looked down. Now I figure out who I am without Kirk." But the drama didn't end there. Jasmine, caught red-handed in what now looked like a desperate ploy, fired back on Instagram. "I didn't fake a pregnancy. The test is flawed, I'll get another one." Fans weren't buying it. The tide turned fast. Where once she was praised for exposing the truth, now she was being dragged for playing dirty. "Girl, you just ruined that woman's life for nothing," one follower wrote. "You knew it wasn't his. You just wanted to destroy them." Blog headlines screamed across the internet. Jasmine's baby bombshell backfires. Kirk cleared, but is it too late for Rasheeda? Public sympathy shifts as Rasheeda stands tall alone. Interviews poured in. Gossip channels ran 24/7's coverage. And all eyes were on Rasheeda, who, instead of crumbling, stood back up like a phoenix from ashes. She made her first post since the scandal, a photo of herself in a power suit. Face fierce, captioned, "This storm didn't break me. It taught me how to rebuild." The post racked up 1 million likes in a day. Her fan base rallied behind her, like never before. Women everywhere flooded her DMs with messages of strength, solidarity, and survival. For once, she wasn't being pitied, she was being celebrated. Kirk, watching from the sidelines, realized what he had truly lost. Not just his wife, not just his family, but her respect. And once that's gone, there's no going back. He tried one more time. One last plea. He showed up to the press store, unannounced, flowers in hand, apology rehearsed. Rasheeda saw him through the glass. Their eyes met. She walked to the door, opened it slowly, and looked him up and down. "You don't get to walk in here like this is still your place," she said, voice calm but lethal. "I read the results. I know the baby's not yours, but that doesn't change what you did." Kirk opened his mouth, but she held up her hand. "Let me finish." She stepped outside, closing the door behind her. "You didn't just cheat again. You let the same woman, the same one, come back into our lives like a virus. You didn't protect me. You didn't protect our family. And now you want a hug because the baby isn't yours." Kirk's eyes watered. "I made mistakes, Rasheeda. I panicked. I didn't know how to fix it." She stepped closer. "You don't fix betrayal with panic. You fix it with truth, with consistency, with accountability. Things you still don't know how to give." He tried to hand her the flowers. She didn't take them. "We need a break. A real one. I'm not saying forever, but I am saying right now. I choose me." She turned to walk back inside. Kirk, stood frozen, holding the flowers like a fool, his legacy crumbling before him. Weeks passed. Rasheeda focused on her businesses, her children, her healing. She launched a new campaign centered around self-worth, inviting women who had been publicly embarrassed, humiliated, and heartbroken to share their stories. The movement exploded. Talk shows called. Magazine covers followed. She wasn't just a reality star anymore, she was a symbol. And Kirk. He watched from the shadows, still trying to earn his way back in. "I'm proud of her," he admitted during a reunion taping. "Even if I'm not standing next to her anymore, I'll always love her. I just hope. Maybe one day, she'll forgive me." The crowd was silent. Rasheeda, sitting across from him, stared straight ahead. Then, with the poise of a woman who's been through hell and built her own ladder out, she said, "Maybe, but this time, forgiveness won't come at the cost of my peace." The audience erupted. The cast members stood and clapped. Even the host wiped a tear from her eye. Because this time, it wasn't just a season finale. It was a rebirth. And Rasheeda was never going back. And just like that, the Frost Empire, as we knew it, has been shaken to its core: scandal, betrayal, public humiliation, and one woman's powerful rise from the ashes. Rasheeda didn't just survive Kirk's latest deception. She reclaimed her voice, her dignity, her power. While the DNA results cleared Kirk legally, they couldn't cleanse the emotional wreckage he left behind. Jasmine's explosive lies only added fuel to a fire that was already burning uncontrollably. But in the end, the truth did come out, and it exposed everyone for who they really are. Kirk. He's left in limbo, watching the woman he once took for granted blossom without him. Jasmine, disgraced and dismissed, her credibility destroyed by her own thirst for relevance. And Rasheeda. She's risen higher than ever, turning heartbreak into hustle and pain into purpose. Fans are still reeling. Cast members are still divided. And social media still can't stop talking. But what about you, fam? What do you think? Was Kirk really being honest when he said he didn't cheat this time, or was it all just damage control? Do you believe Jasmine planned this from the jump? Or did she actually think she was pregnant with his baby? And most importantly, should Rasheeda ever take him back? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Do you stand with Rasheeda? Do you think Kirk deserves a second or third chance? Or is this the end of the road for good? Don't forget to like this video if you were just as shocked as we were. Subscribe for more wild reality TV breakdowns. And hit that bell icon so you never miss the next scandal that rocks the love and hip-hop universe. Because if there's one thing we've learned, the drama never sleeps. And neither do we.